Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Mind Your Nest. I'm your host, Jennifer Rosen, and I'm really excited about my guest today. I've known her for a while, and when I first met her, I didn't really get into a lot of the details about where she's from, family, how she got to Florida, what her work background is. I think I've grabbed little bits and pieces of her. And one of the things that I really love about her is she exudes such warmth and passion as well as joy all the time. I don't think I've ever seen her without a smile on her face. And she's
Aw.
really, I don't know, you're very uplifting and you're a pleasure to be around. And I'm grateful that I get to call you a friend. Andrea Trout. She is the manager of Prime IV of Florida. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a description as well as all their locations. They have grown exponentially since they first landed in Florida. As the premier service provider of IV therapy in Delray Beach, Boynton Beach, Boca Raton, West Boca, Wellington, Palm Beach Gardens, and Weston, Prime IV Hydration and Wellness offers individualized consultations on how IV vitamin therapy can support your health and wellness. And on a personal note, I have to say that I've been there several times, and it was really cool going to your newest location in Wellington. I think that there are newer ones that have opened after that, and I'd never been to a place like that before. Your staff is incredible,
Thank you.
so kind and soft, and you really got that feeling that they were completely involved in the conversation, listening to you, hearing everything that I had to say about my lumps and bumps and aches and all those things, and asked very direct questions to help clarify if I wasn't being clear on what I thought I might be looking for in terms of wanting to take care of in my body. But the best part of it all were those, oh my God, that chair.
The massage
Oh my
chairs, yeah.
God. I swear to God, I feel like you needed to be airlifted to get out of that
I
thing. It was
know.
fantastic. Okay, Andrea Trout, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Jennifer Rose, and I appreciate that introduction. Really sweet.
It's all true.
Thoughtful.
So I want to know, how'd you get to Florida? What's your background? Where'd you come from? I know you hail from the West Coast.
I do.
So let's hear it.
So if you had told me I'd be living on the East Coast, I would have called you a dirty liar. And it's simply because, like, you're from Chicago. Did you ever think you would live anywhere else? Did you have that in mind?
Never. No.
So it's just ludicrous. And I lived in Colorado. I'm from California. I grew up in California. Lived in Colorado, which again, I never thought I would go there. And life sometimes happens, right? Takes us places, we make choices. And I've lived in Las Vegas very briefly. I did not like living in Las Vegas. Lived all over California. I've lived in Europe a couple times for school. So when I was in school, both undergrad and then again in law school.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So
Where? What parts?
So undergrad, I did a year in England.
Very nice.
That I loved. Yeah, I did a summer study program in London for the summer. This is so long ago now. It's funny. It makes me feel old, Jennifer.
We're not old.
I know.
We really aren't.
Look, it's a life well lived.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So I did a summer study abroad program in London with the college I was at after my freshman year, which was theater, and I was an English major, so there were some things around English literature. And then I went to a school about an hour outside of London called Newbold College. I think that's what it's still called. I grew up as a Seventh-day Adventist, and this is a Seventh-day Adventist school. And my mom had told me that she would help pay for my education if I went to Seventh-day Adventist universities. Well, I'm not dumb.
Exactly.
Not to
free versus a lot of zeros.
Yeah. And well, then I figured out there was a school in England. So I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to England.
Such a smarty pants. I love it.
So that's how I ended up there for my sophomore year.
Can I ask you, what that term that you just used, what does that mean?
Seventh-day Adventist?
Yes.
So it's a church.
Okay.
So it's Christian. So it's a Christian church, and they have that church has a whole network of schools from like kindergarten through college. Okay. And then in Southern California, and there probably are some other ones that have different of this now, they have graduate programs too, most of which are medicine. Nice. So like my sister's a dentist, my cousin's a dentist, his sister's an OBGYN. Their dad was an orthodontist, is an orthodontist, still practicing briefly because he's older, but like my whole family pretty much went to their graduate programs.
Wow.
And
That's
I was the black
amazing.
sheep that was like, I'm not doing medicine. I'm going to go to law school.
Well, yeah, and funny that you're back in it in a much more holistic way. It's amazing.
Life is funny.
Yeah, no, it is. First of all, that's amazing that you have all of these doctors in your family. Hopefully, you'll never have to pay a bill for any of those services. Yeah, I always say,
Not true.
Melissa and I know I come from accounting and law, and I don't remember the last time I've had a bill for my tax returns. However, from the law side, yes, I do get
Right.
bills.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but in any event, okay. So, how was it experience for you growing up in that manner in the church? Was it everything like all you've ever known in your family growing up?
That's all I ever knew growing up for sure. Because my mom converted my mom and dad got married when they were like 18, 19. And she did not grow up in that church. My dad did.
Got it.
And my grandmother actually was a preacher's kid. He was a preacher in the Seventh-day Adventist church. That's how far back it goes.
Wow.
And my grandfather did not grow up in that. I don't know the whole story on how he became it. Back in the day, so this is probably the 20s, there used to be call porters in different religions that went around and knocked on the door and tried to convert people. I believe that is something with How to Do. My grandfather was converted, I think. But they met at a Seventh-day Adventist college in Nebraska and eloped. And then didn't tell anybody they got married. So anyway, there's a whole story there. My grandparents are awesome. Like they're both gone now, but I loved my grandparents very much on my dad's side. I didn't really know my grandparents on my mother's side. Like my grandfather on that side died before I was a tiny baby or before I was born. And then my grandmother, we just didn't see her a lot. But my mom really liked it. So we grew up in that. So I didn't know different. I definitely rebelled against some of it, like tried to stop going to church when I was about 15.
Was it a weekly church like on Sundays, or did you have Sunday schools or school during the week?
We had my whole entire school from kindergarten through high school was all Seventh-day Adventist schools. Wow. So the difference is with Seventh-day Adventist, you go to church on Saturday. You keep the Jewish Sabbath.
Yeah.
So we had sundown Friday nights to sundown on Saturday was Sabbath. So growing up, you didn't watch TV. You couldn't listen to secular radio, secular music during Sabbath. It wasn't so much like Orthodox where there's like a Sabbath mode on electronics and stuff. It wasn't that much. You didn't do secular things. I think it's a little different now. Don't consider myself Seventh Adventist anymore.
Got it.
But I think a lot of people do things different. So growing up, no alcohol. We didn't eat meat. You didn't do caffeine. So there's no coffee. We had a fake coffee thing that's made from a different thing called Postum, which actually I really like. And other people tried and they're like, this is gross. But you grow up with this like fake meat. We had fake hot dogs before it was a thing.
Yeah.
Like all my cafeteria food in school was all vegetarian. I mean, I grew up in a very different way from a lot of people. So people are like, oh, do you eat meat now? I've eaten fish on and off. I hadn't eaten it for a long time. I started a little bit eating it last year, and I've had a few meals with some fish included here and there in the last probably almost a year. But I don't make a habit of it. Just it's what I know is vegetarian.
Yeah.
So that's affected a lot of things.
I've always noticed that about you, and I find it interesting that
We're doing it.
really is a huge part of your life. Like Andrea is vegetarian and vegetarianism is Andrea. It's very interesting, you know, how you are so dedicated, and that's just part of who you are as an individual. And I'm sure that came from, I would imagine, from your upbringing.
Sure.
When you were out in school and in Europe, did you ever have a desire to eat anything that wasn't vegetarian?
Never.
Were you ever curious?
So not really in school. I've done things to shock people. Like I was at, I forget the name, what's the Japanese restaurant where they flip the vegetables in the state bachi.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I've been at Benihana, I think it's what it is. The one I'm particularly thinking of. And they were doing it and I popped a shrimp in my mouth to shock somebody. Only shrimp I've ever eaten in my life.
Wow. Oh my
So
gosh.
I've tried like probably 3 or 5 bites of steak because I was in Argentina with my friend on a trip and I'm like, okay, let me try it. Again, I think we have these ties and it's how we are raised. And yes, you can learn new things. We know this. But there's a certain tie to how what comfort food you had when you were a kid.
Oh, absolutely.
Those things you had when you were little. And I know things can become different, but that's definitely, and my cousins grew up vegetarian. Many of them are not. Like, they've chosen other things. So people can make different choices.
Right.
It just was never for me, ever. I never was like, oh, let me just eat some meat or whatever.
Right.
Fish, I tried. I liked it. I kind of stopped out because I was very picky on what I eat. There's a biblical, this sounds crazy. There's a biblical version of clean meat. So I would eat clean fish. So it had to have scales and gills. So no bottom feeders, no shark, no swordfish, anything that doesn't have scales or gills is considered, in the Old Testament at least, biblically unclean.
Oh my God, you're so smart, Andrea. I can't
So-
take it.
Well, it's just random.
I know, but I mean, I've been Jewish my whole life, and I can't really recall anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, again, the first 18 years of my life, we had Bible class.
Right.
We were
Oh,
in
that's
church.
true.
I was in Seventh-day Adventist version of Girl Scouts. So it does stick with you.
Yeah.
My grandmother who, again, I adored my grandmother. Her name is Bonnie. And she was very Seventh-day Adventist. It's one of the things, like, I went to law school in San Francisco and she talked to me about, you be careful in that wicked city.
Oh my-
And at the time
yeah.
I would just be like, oh, grandma, and roll my eyes because I know she meant well.
Yep.
My uncle was gay. She really didn't like that fact. He had a partner for years, and at his funeral, they said if Terry had lived another month, he would have been with his partner for 30 years. Oh, she was so not happy they said that. People might misunderstand.
Yeah.
No, grandma, they totally understand,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yep.
But it was just a different era. We didn't talk about things like that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what is the name of that fish
What fish?
that you just described?
The clean fish?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of clean fish. So salmon's clean. Anything that has scales or gills. So like shark doesn't have scales. So it has gills but no scales. Same with, I think, swordfish, right? So there's anything that's a shellfish, not clean. And again, some people believe the New Testament, there's passages in the Bible that did away with some of the Old Testament. So it's open to interpretation. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just saying for me, I was
Yes.
like, well, this is a very easy guideline.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't eat like farm raised fish. I just know that's
Absolutely.
clean. And we both know we're into health and wellness.
Yeah.
I think we have some similarity there. So knowing what I know about how they raise animals, I'm pretty picky. And we still, even some of the stuff I get, the way that eggs are raised, it still can be problematic, even when it's like the best way to raise them.
Yep.
If they're commercially produced, there's just going to be some problems, unfortunately.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I started shifting many years ago, having grown up in a family where there were salamis hanging in our laundry room. We had a custom-made soda fountain. I mean, we were
Yeah.
eating like large and in charge or whatever.
Yeah.
And then slowly, probably after maybe my dad being sick for so many years, or maybe me being done with being chronically overweight up and down, that I finally, you do have to make a decision. They're like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like, looking at all the labels, shopping the perimeter of the grocery store, more so than in the aisles inside, and then being more thoughtful about what type of produce or fruits and veggies that I was picking up, and then deciding at certain times, the cost of buying organic was somewhat prohibitive.
Sure.
So you had to make choices. And okay, so what should I really not splurge for, but what really is the most important vegetable to buy that's organic? And then you start slowly. And I have noticed, it seems like, that organic prices seem to be coming down or stabilizing or closer to regular prices at the store. And even the sales, sometimes the organic is less expensive, which I find, thank goodness.
Yes. And one other thing I'll say about that is, have you heard of the Clean 15 list?
No.
So the Clean 15 list is a list of fruits and veggies that tend to absorb less pesticide. So let's take avocados, for instance, because they have that tough, thicker shell.
Right.
The pesticides don't get into the flesh. So I will often buy avocados that aren't organic because it's not as important.
Right.
Bananas are kind of the same thing. I do tend to buy organic bananas. I don't know. There's just a thing in my head about that, but they are on the Clean 15 list. Whereas like strawberries with that very thin skin and they grow in the ground, absorb all the pesticides. So I will pretty much, for the most part, only buy organic strawberries or eat organic strawberries. So there's a list you can look at that helps you with that.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I can find it on that website called Google, right?
Yes.
Clean 15. Okay, so let's get back and talk about Prime IV.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved the service. I thought it was fantastic. And I understood as much as I could have understood about the product
Sure.
and how it was going to benefit me and help me. But obviously, I didn't get down to the micro level to really completely understand. I know that I loved the experience. I trusted your staff to give me the right product.
Yeah.
And it was just wonderful. I felt, I don't know, I just felt like I had an extra pep in my step each time that I left. So, can you describe what Prime IV really does and the individual services that are offered and how a potential customer client comes in and they don't know what they're looking for?
Sure. So the idea behind IV therapy started decades ago. Probably the most common formulation is called the Myers cocktail because it was founded by a doctor named Dr. Myers. And what he found is that because of nutritional deficiencies, and there's various reasons for that. One is food. They've decimated our soils, so we know that. And so it used to be broccoli had 254% more, I think it's vitamin C. I might be wrong on that. I'd have to look it up now. Than they do now. It does now because the soils just are depleted the way that they farm. And we can take oral vitamins. I still take oral supplements, so I'm not knocking them, but we know formulation is very challenging because in an ideal world, our stomach should be very acidic. We're designed that way. What we've done in Western medicine is try to turn off the acid. What do they give you? They give you acid blockers when you have heartburn because the valve's not closing, it comes up the tract. You should have an acidic stomach. Well, when you take a supplement, the acid destroys the supplement because most of them are not designed to withstand that acidic environment, okay? So where we absorb nutrients is in the gut. It has to get into the intestines to be absorbable. There's other problems that we have, a lot of diseases with absorption, but if it can get to the intestines, if you have a semi-healthy intestinal tract, that's where you're going to get your nutrition. So there's a lot of things that have to happen for that nutrition to get there. The second issue is supplements, and I'm a fan of this. I'm not advocating that they do this, but the FDA doesn't regulate what's on the supplements.
Yep.
Great. FDA, please don't step into it. I don't want the regulation.
Correct.
But what that means is as consumers, we're responsible for knowing the companies that we're buying from and that they're legit and what's on that label says is in there.
Yep.
And oftentimes it's not, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why Dr. Myers did this is because you were his client or patient, let's say, and you're like, Dr. Myers, man, I have allergies. I'm not sleeping well. My skin is having this problem, whatever. There's a myriad of problems. So he started doing IV pushes. So a little fluid with some vitamins. All of a sudden, all those things started clearing up for his patients. Allergies, headaches, so migraines and regular headaches, sleep issues, skin problems, all digestive tract issues. Because the body is designed to work as a whole. We're so amazing. Our bodies are amazing.
I agree. And I was just recently at an event, and this gentleman, I'd never heard of him before. And now, I mean, I bought his book. He's amazing. And I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his last name correctly. It's Doug Caparino. An amazing, oh my God, talking about health and wellness and how powerful our body really is at curing diseases and ailments that we have suffered from for a very long time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of where we're at right in this day and age is, okay, so social media, you can certainly have its challenges with it, but the power of information as an individual with sovereignty over my body, hopefully.
Yes.
I can have information and make choices for myself.
Correct.
Okay, to go back to IV therapy. So now when we know we have the challenges with the digestive tract, now we can bypass it. So we can bypass it with IV therapy with vitamins, which is hydration. And our standard bag is 1,000 milliliters of what's called a lactated ringer. The difference of lactated ringer versus normal saline is it has extra electrolytes in it that more closely mimic the electrolytes in the body. And one of the things that's coming out now, you've probably seen it, that we know is we're so mineral deficient as a nation.
Yes.
That it's a lot of root causes are from mineral deficiencies.
Right.
Because it used to be our water ran over rocks, which contain minerals.
Yep.
We would drink it and we would be fine because we're getting minerals. Now we sanitize it. We run it through all these sanitizations and for municipal water, add other crap to it. And then we drink it and we wonder why we're mineral deficient. And our food doesn't have the minerals in it anymore. We eat table salt instead of sea salt. Table salt has no minerals in it except sodium. Sea salt often contains like 98 minerals if it's a good quality sea salt.
What about, I'm sorry to
please.
interrupt. So what about Celtic salt, or is it Celtic, Celtic? I think I have that, and then pink Himalayan salt.
So in my experience and research, the sea salt, so Celtic sea salt is better than the Himalayan salt.
Okay.
And why is because of the mineral content. The pink is generally from iron, and it has to be mined, whereas a lot of times the way that they harvest sea salt is a little bit more natural. And again, this is my research. I haven't done a deep dive. So if I'm wrong on there, somebody wants to provide me other information, have at it. Now, there was just a lawsuit against the brand Celtic salt, sea salt, because it does contain, and I'm going to blank on what it is. There's a substance in it that's not good for us that it's said to contain. And I think it's naturally occurring. It's not added. So I have some other salt brands that I really like. There is one called Baja Gold that is harvested out of Mexico, out of the sea in Mexico. There's a couple other brands. There's one called I think it's Ava Jane's Kitchen. I like that one, but my favorite one is a company, and I'm going to blank on the name. It's out of Oregon. I can get it for you to put in the show notes.
Okay.
That's my favorite one. I want to say it's near Coos Bay, Oregon. It's so good. That's my favorite. It's like weird to have a favorite sea salt, but that's my favorite sea salt.
I do have salt from Redmond salt.
Redmond's is a good brand.
And I have the electrolytes from Redmond too.
Yeah.
However, I'm not a huge fan of all their flavors, and so I do have Flav City's pineapple electrolyte, which is a clean electrolyte as well. I know a lot of people talk about, like you just did, about electrolytes and replenishing so we don't get dehydrated.
Yeah.
And a lot of times simply drinking water isn't enough to replenish us. We do need that clean electrolyte to help replenish.
We do.
Correct. So do you have any favorite electrolytes, or can you use salt and replace that with any electrolyte that you have?
Again, I listen to people more knowledgeable than me. And one of them says you can put a pinch of sea salt on your tongue, quality sea salt, with some water, and that'll give you the minerals you need.
Oh, great.
I am not 100% sure I believe that, especially in South Florida. Like we were talking, I played pickleball on Sunday for 3 hours. It's hot. It's summer in South Florida.
Just a little bit. I mean, I'm beyond impressed. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, thank you. I'm obsessed, as some people know, Janine and Carolina, but I just think it's really challenging if you're outside in this heat, whether you're working or playing a sport. I golfed on Monday for 4 hours at a tournament. It's just really challenging to get enough hydration in you, and I use the electrolyte packets. I'm using a brand right now called Instant Hydration because it's a sea salt versus a table salt of the brand I used to use. So again, I learn and adjust like we all do.
Yeah.
I know Redmond's good. I think my sister had theirs, and I think I tasted them and was good. The flavor I love from Instant Hydration I'm obsessed with is Paloma. So it's a grapefruit.
What's that? Oh,
it's
really?
So good. Yeah.
All right. I'll have to get that name from you. I'm going to have, because that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
And very satiating your thirst.
It's so refreshing. I have some coming in. I just ordered a big wholesale order. So if you want some, I would
love it.
Yeah. Give you some. You're welcome. I still use those. I like the taste of a lot of them, and some I don't. I really don't like anything that's watermelon flavored. I love watermelon. I don't like watermelon flavor.
Yes.
Some people love it. So again, it's just preference.
Yeah.
But I really think that getting those minerals in, however somebody's willing to do it, is important. And somebody said to me the other day, can you do too many of these? I'm sure you can, especially if you're not outside sweating all day, because there's still salt in them. I like the Instant Hydration has a little bit less sodium than the old one I used. Some people don't like that there's flavor and citric acid in them. We know citric acid can be problematic for a lot of people, but I use them. I don't seem to have a problem with it. So it's kind of like what somebody's threshold is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Another great thing for minerals is sea moss. If you get a high quality sea moss gel.
I've had sea moss before.
Yeah.
And I still actually have some in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
Does it expire?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. So
I bet it's good for about a month.
Okay. It's definitely
couple
time.
weeks.
I have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've seen them at the grocery store but One World Zero Waste, I
Oh, yeah.
believe, makes their own, I think, or they get it somewhere locally. So that's where I bought it. And I don't know, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It's an immune booster.
There's a lot of places that make it locally, but you have to know how they make it. And I haven't, again, that's not one thing I've done a deep dive into, making sure. And I just bought one. We sometimes do that and hope it's good. And we sometimes do a supplement.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not a good strategy.
No, it's not. It's, I'm going to try eating this for 30 days and then, all right, I'm done. On to the next thing. Okay, so talk about, I don't know, do you have a model customer, a client that comes in there looking for a boost, looking for something?
Yeah. And I didn't really finish the process, so that's a great segue into it. So the model customers tend to be, I mean, it's about 65% women, 35% men. Mostly 35, 40 and older. And a lot of times it's like what you said, where you have had a lifestyle, but now you're hitting that lovely middle-age mark or older and not feeling the same. People are tired, they're stressed out, they're not sleeping. There's a lot of reasons for those, right? Overschedule ourselves. We don't have good nutrition sometimes.
Yeah.
Or even if we're trying to have good nutrition, the nutrition isn't there. And so many people are taking steps to make adjustments, right?
Yep.
They're looking for an answer. And the bottom line is they want to feel better.
Yep.
They want to feel like they did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They want to lose some weight. They want some more energy. Those are probably the top 3 things I hear. I want to lose some weight. I need more energy. I want to sleep better. Or the fourth, and this is actually one of the most common, is somebody in my family's sick, or I feel like I'm coming down with something. I don't want to get sick. I can't afford to get sick.
I would imagine, I would imagine that would happen a lot for people that are getting ready to travel as well.
Correct. Exactly. Because I always say the airplanes can be dirty. Everybody thinks airplanes are dirty. I actually think the airports are the worst. Because I don't think they're cleaned as regularly.
Oh, I'm sure they're not.
Yeah.
How many seats? Do you know how long it would take somebody? Oh my God.
Yes. So I always recommend, and flying is very dehydrating for the body.
Yep.
So I always recommend somebody come in the day before, or if they're going later in the day of their flying, because that bag gives you the equivalent of drinking 2.5 gallons of water.
Oh my gosh.
Don't do that. It's too much at once to drink. But my point is it's super hydrating. You're getting the electrolytes. And then the vitamins that go in there are up to you. And it's based on your, like you said, that model woman's goals. Right. So if somebody says, man, I'd want more energy and I want to sleep better, my next question is, okay, if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you want more energy for the day today. Yes, that's typical.
Right.
If it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, well, I definitely want to sleep tonight. Right. So that might be a different formulation that we give you based on the time of day and when you come in. And goals, because a Myers cocktail will probably help you sleep really well that night, but you might get a little sleepy because we have magnesium in that bag, and about 35-40% of the population might get a little sleepy because it's a smooth muscle relaxer from the magnesium.
Very nice.
So
I like that.
Totally gonna be good for sleep. Whereas if we give you what's called our Revitalizer Plus formula, which is energizing, has double doses of B12, double doses of taurine, you're not gonna get like a caffeine buzz, but man, you're gonna feel good for that day.
And you would recommend that bag be delivered earlier on in the day?
Unless I got to go all night, not all night, but I have a long night ahead and I'm dragging. Yes, I'm going to do that bag. I would recommend that bag earlier in the day for somebody versus at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock, our last appointment of the day. I'm not going to do that to them if they're going to go to bed typically at 10 o'clock at night. It's too close in my experience.
Yep. No, that makes perfect sense.
But that's where we get what your goals are and where we are in the day. And if somebody, because like anything, going to the gym, I know you work out and are active, consistency is key.
Yep.
So one and done is you're going to feel good. You're going to feel better for that trip. But once a month, twice a month is our typical frequency for somebody, because what we do is we say it's kind of like getting gas into the fuel tank of your car or a battery charge. Yeah, you can get that bag and it's going to charge that battery, but it's going to get depleted.
Right.
So then we charge it up again with another bag, whether that's 4 weeks later, and we can do some injections that are quicker as a little intermittent boost. And those come with our memberships for energy for people and some weight loss support depending on their goals. And that's probably our most popular membership is the once a month bag and then 2 injections a month. So again, we're tailoring it to what somebody's looking for.
Okay, so let's talk about weight loss, because I know a lot of people all the time, they want to lose weight. It's not a one-dimensional process, as we've talked about. It takes more than one variable to help us meet our goals.
Yes.
I mean, number one, deciding that we want to lose weight is the first step.
Yep.
And then deciding how you're going to get there is the other. For somebody that is in the process of, and then obviously wanting to make sure that continues to be their lifestyle, what do you recommend from the beginning for those clients that are dedicated and ready to commit to what you just described?
Yeah. Again, I always will go back to what's your willingness? What can
Right.
you do? Will you do? What will you commit to? Because if somebody says, I can't commit to 2 IVs a month, then I'm not going to have you do it. Because you're just setting somebody up for failure. Because if they're like, yeah, I'll do 2 a month, or they think they're waffling on that idea, they're probably not going to do it. And I'm of the mindset, I've done a lot of work in like self-help, for lack of a better way of saying it, transformation of baby steps. So let's baby step somebody into it. Now, if somebody's, look, I've got an event, the motivation's strong, the
Yes.
wedding, the reunion, whatever, you probably have a little bit more commitment.
Oh, absolutely.
So I've lost 65 pounds with GLP-1s. Okay. Before that, I'd lost about 30 pounds without it before I ever moved to Florida. So I used to be very heavy.
And how many years ago was this?
So the 30 pounds I lost in 2017, and I left Colorado to go back to California because my dad got sick and I was his primary caretaker. So I was not drinking. I was cooking whole food, plant-based. We were hiking very frequently with my sister, my dad, and I, because we had to rehab his back because he'd hurt his back. And so I didn't even know I'd lost 30 pounds. One day I'd gotten the scale and was like, wow, exactly. Like, I knew I felt better. I knew I looked a little better, but I would never have thought it was 30 pounds.
That's amazing.
So I know it can be done without the GLPs. And then I kind of stayed, and I was 20 pounds-ish heavier than where I'd been in my life very consistently, like high school even, up until I gained the weight. And I gained the weight in 09, 08, 09, around some like life events, we'll call it. So I was not eating well. I was eating too much, drinking too much. And I was active. I was still working out and trying to do stuff, but it just sneaks up on you.
It does.
Yeah. And
It's
emotional
amazing.
eating.
Oh,
So, yeah.
it's amazing how your focus or our focus from something that is right in front of us. We look in the mirror every day.
Right.
We try on clothes. We change outfits maybe 37 times because maybe we're just not, we want to make sure we're picking whatever we think at the time, at that moment
Yeah.
for that event looks the best on us. So it is hard to contradict what's reflecting back from a mirror. But then the other thing is too, it's the one thing that you need to decide
It's true.
and to really look and say, the person that's looking back at you is really you. It's not anybody else.
Yeah.
And you have to really decide, like you said, am I ready to commit?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard. And look, it is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life by far. And the GLP-1s took a lot of that challenge away. Now, so if you don't know
And
what
when did-
GLP-1 is, that's like Wegovy. So it's semaglutide interzepatide, or the compounded version names.
Can you tell me how long after your 20-pound weight loss did the GLP-1, when did that process start with you?
So I lost the 20, 30 pounds in 2017. And then I started GLP-1s about 2.5 years ago. So that was 2022, I believe. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems right. So is that right? Gosh, I don't know where the time goes. It's either 2022 or 2023. I'd have to go back and look. I think it's 2022. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So there was a time in there where I was status quo, right? When I moved to Florida, I was that weight. After I'd lost that 30 pounds, I just stayed there steady. And you'll go up a couple pounds, down a couple pounds, but our body likes a set point.
Yeah.
And look, I've always, up until the GLP-1 weight loss, I had always been a plus size girl. High school, most of my adult life. So even 2.5 years in at what I consider myself to be not plus size at this point, it's a new experience for me. I was walking in and I'm wearing a skirt today, and I was like, man, those are my legs. It's still crazy how our brain doesn't assimilate the change, even though it's been this way now for years for me that I've been thinner. Our brains are a wild place.
I agree with you. There are times that I walk by a mirror and I'm horrified, and then there are other times, or maybe it was the wrong outfit, the wrong dress, whatever, but you can't change reality.
Right.
And then there are times that I'm like, okay, not bad. And then the other times I just don't look. But I do agree with you. When I have felt that I felt my best and I felt that I look my best, I'm like, wow, is that really you looking back? Janine, I wanted to ask you, since you've been and you're a client of Andrea's, have you felt that same experience during your evolution?
I will say probably, yeah. I mean, I've struggled with weight my whole life, and I've probably lost the same 60 to 70 pounds probably 3 or 4 times over in my life. So I'll gain it, and then I've lost it, then I've gained it back, then I've lost it. So it's still weird. Shopping is the weirdest thing because I always considered myself plus size, so I'd always go for the size like 14, 16, and now
Yeah.
I'm like a 10, 8, 10, and I still grab the larger size.
And then it swims on you and you're like,
Yeah.
this is bizarre. And that's where I'm saying our brains like really have a hard time adjusting.
Oh,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, and same with me, I've been overweight the majority of my life, and I feel like I still see that reflection when I go to the store and try on stuff, and I don't pay attention to sizes anymore because they're so all over the place.
They really are. It's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah, and sometimes you feel they do it purposefully
I
just to
know.
like shame people, which is absolutely horrible. But in any event, it is amazing what your brain does to you, the
Yeah.
tricks
And-
that it plays.
And the point I want to make is, I think the thing that I've reflected on so much with it is, I still had value 95 pounds heavier than I am now. I was
Absolutely.
still a smart person. I was still a very caring individual. I love fiercely. I'm loyal. I still was funny, in my opinion. And everybody else sometimes needs to catch up with that. And that's the thing. I think that a lot of times women have talked about it. Other people have talked about it. With weight, there's such a thing around it in our society of it's kind of wearing thing that people judge you for externally, and you can't avoid it.
Nope.
I find it interesting as like Lizzo always was body positive as a plus size woman, and now she's lost a bunch of weight and she through hard work, and I don't know what other means. I'm sure she's had a diet change and she's got means, so she probably has a team around it,
Right.
which definitely makes it easier. But at the end of the day, it's still Lizzo that has to do those workouts. It's still Lizzo that has to not put the food in her mouth. And we all have reasons for it. Like, I've been in weight loss camps where all the women sitting around the fire, every one of them but me had been sexually assaulted in some way, shape, or form. And the weight was part of that armor to hide and try to protect yourself from that.
Yeah, the trauma.
I mean, it's mind-boggling how common that is to me. I just want anybody that hears this, if you're feeling in that place where you want to lose weight, you're still a valid human being.
Yes.
I don't feel more valid now as a human being per se. What I feel is more the person I knew I was. And my confidence certainly is a different place because of how I feel about myself.
Right.
But I just want people to know that you are still loved, you're still lovable, you're still worthy, because we are so terrible to overweight people in this society.
Yeah. And you still matter a
You
lot
Always
to
matter.
a lot of people.
Always.
You're still loved. You're capable of love, everything.
Yeah.
And this one thing doesn't take away all of that.
It doesn't define you.
Yeah, no, I find that a lot in people suffering from addictions and other ailments. They feel like that part of them is just eliminated, or they feel like they're invisible. And that's a shame.
Well, and you look at addictions, like you look at drinking or drugs, you can hide it. You can hide it. Whereas when you have an addiction to food, you have a food problem. A, you can't avoid food. You have to eat. And B, everything is designed with calorie overload.
Yep.
Our portions are too big. So everything's designed to keep you in the weight you are. And that's what I struggled with it. And I knew I was eating too much food.
Yep.
And there is a sense of, and we know this coming out, it is not, there's an aspect of it, calories in versus calories out, but we also know that somebody can be eating less calories, but if they're insulin resistant, their body is not going to release the weight. And so you have to solve some of those problems internally. It's hormonal imbalance. And we can fix it. That metabolic resistance can be fixed. The GLP-1s actually can help with that. You can do it without the GLP-1s, but you have to solve that problem for somebody to be able to release weight. And it's a very common problem. Like most people, I should say, not anybody with PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome, there's a lot of those metabolic problems that are clues that you're insulin resistant. And again, it can be solved. A lot of the solutions are shopping the perimeters of the store and eating less processed food. So no sugar or very little sugar or not. And even in the beginning, probably just no sugar, not even the natural sugars. It's hard. I am a sugar addict. Hi, my name's Andrea. I'm a sugar addict. I freaking love sugar. And then part 2 is cutting out the refined carbs. Carbs are okay. We have vilified carbs.
I know, like the poor baked potato.
Yeah.
Do you eat it? Do you not eat it? What are your thoughts?
I love baked potatoes.
Do you like a sweet potato? Do you like a white sweet potato? Or do you
All
like
of the
a
above.
good old baked potato?
All of the above.
Okay.
I will eat all of the above.
Because it comes from the earth, right?
It does. It comes from the earth. There's minerals in those potatoes. There's so many nutrients. There's fiber. There's good carbs. It's a slow uptake on the carbs.
So you're not going to spike after eating baked potato.
Most people won't. Now, some people can. Everybody's different. And you can wear a continuous glucose monitor if you want to see what spikes your glucose. Some things will shock you. But, you can usually tell by how you feel after eating something if your glucose is spiked.
Yeah.
But if not, it's accessible now. You used to have to get a prescription for it, but you can just go online and buy a continuous glucose monitor and wear it for a few weeks and see what affects your blood sugar.
What is it? Is it a bracelet?
No, it's tiny little, it's a pinch. It's a tiny little needle that goes on the back of the arm. There's a monitor there, and then you use an app, and it's transmitted to the app on your phone, and it reads your blood glucose.
Really?
And I think you can wear it for 7 days or 14 days, and then you swap it out. And they have a cover. You have a little bandage that covers it. You'll see them. Now you'll start to see people wearing them.
Okay. And then you're either to extract the data and find out what's going on.
Yeah. So I'd worn one that it didn't have the app on your phone. You had another little reader, and it would read your glucose through the reader. And so I was able to see what would affect my glucose and what wouldn't. It's been a while now, so honestly, I don't remember everything, but it is mind-boggling because you're like, oh, that shouldn't affect it. And some things do that you're like, they shouldn't. But because that is one thing that we know, if you can keep glucose steady and at below a certain level, disease starts to disappear, weight starts to disappear. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I might have to go get that. I wanted to ask from a longer term perspective for those clients that are looking for, they obviously are looking for immediate weight loss, short and long term to sustain. Are you their first visit, or do you feel that they've talked with, let's say, their doctor who has said, you have these deficiencies, we've run all your labs, here's our recommendation? Or do you find that your clients come in there with what they think they're missing, or are you the one that helps them realize what they actually are missing?
So typically, most doctors, now it's changing. There are doctors out there that can help with this. Most do not have the education on it,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Because they're just taught pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Even though the vitamins we use are technically produced by pharmaceutical labs, meaning they're clean.
Yes.
Doctors don't know it. Now, again, it's changing. There's a lot of functional medicine. There's a lot out there. So most people come to us. Some people have gotten labs done. Again, we're living in a day and age where you can go get any lab you want done on yourself pretty much very easily. You might pay for it. Insurance may not, but you can get it done. So it's, again, somebody's commitment to what their outcome is. So with our clients, for weight loss, let's say, usually they've been coming to us. I have one client, she was one of my first clients ever. I met her at an event in a gym, gave her a free B12 shot. She started coming for the IVs. Now she was working out at that workout place consistently. So God bless her, because that's the hard thing. She showed up and she was doing the IVs. Well, just the IVs that were targeted at weight loss, she probably lost a good 20, 25 pounds. She still wanted to lose more. So when we came out with the GLP-1s, we got her on a GLP-1. She lost another like 30, 35 pounds. So through the IVs and then the GLP-1s, we've helped her lose 60 pounds. And she's like, it's changed my life. So that seems to be more typical of our clients, where they've come to us for the IVs. They're feeling better with the consistent vitamin therapy and the hydration. And then they might be like, I want to lose weight. I've had wives say to their husbands, you're going to Prime IV, you need to lose some weight. So it's varied. There's a whole spectrum of how people arrive there.
Yeah.
Okay, I want this to be said though, because I think this is the most important thing. When we talk about losing weight, the most important thing, if you hear me say anything today, to your listeners, we want you to lose fat. You can lose muscle. We're doing you a disservice. Lose fat. And so when I lost my 65 pounds on the GLP-1, and this is where the GLP-1s are setting people up for problems down the road. If you're not lifting weights at least 2 to 3 times a week, slightly heavy, I don't want you to injure yourself. So make sure you know what you're doing. There's lots of resources out there and lots of trainers and ways to do it. But you are doing yourself a disservice, because that weight loss is going to be fat. And if you go off a GLP-1 and regain the weight, it's going to come back as fat. So now we've adjusted body comp in the wrong way. So it might have been like when I started out, my body comp was about 40% fat, which is stupid high.
And how did you find that out?
Great question. So I used something called the InBody. You can do pretty accurate. Water can affect it. So if you go to an IV, it's going to be a very different reading than not. So you want to be consistent. So don't do the IV the day before you do it. If you're going to do it, be consistent.
Got it.
And my gym has it. There are a lot of places that have them. Now they have home scales that will do it. I don't know the accuracy of that as much, but and then the most accurate, I believe, is called the DEXA scan. It's more expensive, but you can do it. I think for more frequently, the InBody's fine. It gives you a benchmark and you kind of know where you're at. So with what I did, because I was working out consistently, the place here in Delray called the Lift Lounge, and shout out to them because it is a little different workout, but it's focused on longevity and anti-aging and keeping muscle. That's the most important thing, because as I lost those 65 pounds, and I was tracking it, I have receipts, I lost very little muscle. That is because even today I was there, I worked out this morning, and the co-founder of it, she's like, man, girl, you look good. I mean, she's known me since I was 60 pounds heavier, 65 pounds heavier. But even since I've lost the weight, and it's harder now because I'm smaller, but transitioning that body composition, that is what's going to keep me younger, longer as I hit my 50s and beyond. And whatever you do as you lose weight, I don't even care if somebody loses weight. Change your body composition. Right. Lose the body fat, keep the muscle. Yep. If you didn't lose a pound and your body muscle goes up and your body fat comes down, you are doing yourself a huge benefit.
Yeah. And would you be able to notice that when you're looking in the mirror?
All day. Even if I still feel a little flabby, because I've lost 65 pounds, the meat suit gets a little stretched out, right? The skin. I still think, and again, I've lost 95 pounds really, if you think about it, from my heaviest.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a small person. I don't think I have the skin flab that some people have when they've lost that much weight. And I attribute it to the fact that I've focused on muscle and I lost it very gradually. The 30 pounds was first. I had a period where I was at that plateau like we talked about. And then the 65 pounds was over about a year. So it was gradual. And some people say to me on the GLP-1s, I only lost 5 pounds this month. Do you know how hard that is in our 40s?
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight. A lot of weight. I mean, for somebody who's 200 pounds, that's over 2% of your body fat in a month.
Yeah.
That's massive. Yeah. So again, a pound a week is great. 4 pounds a month, great. Anything over that, bonus.
Yeah.
If we know the majority of it's fat.
Right.
I hate to say it. I'm vegetarian. It's hard. Protein is important. Quality protein.
What do you eat for protein?
So I'm vegetarian. So right now I eat there's a vegetarian protein product from Abbott's. I eat some of their chicken. It's obviously not chicken. It's chicken. It's pea protein. It's very clean. It's no seed oils, a very clean product. I will eat eggs. I do eat cottage cheese and yogurt. So I still am using the dairy. Some people can't tolerate that. So that's, if you do eat meat, you want grass-fed beef, the fish, quality, hopefully pasture-raised chicken, not local. You can buy a cow now that was grass-fed, grass-finished. You can buy a quarter cow, half a cow. It's expensive. You store it in your freezer, but you know the quality's there. Yep. There's boxes that you can get that are grass-fed, grass-finished more. You want to get away from the corporate raised meats.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't eat the meats, obviously. So fish, if I'm in the Keys and it's wild caught, they caught it there and it's not been frozen, and it's my little neuroses of the clean fish, I might have some. I'm picky, but that's a challenge. So I take a product called Perfect Aminos. It's not a branched chain amino acids. It's 8 of the 9 essential aminos that your body needs to make protein. So for me, that's super important. And I use that all while doing my workouts and losing the weight because I can't eat enough protein. I just can't. And the GLP-1s kill your appetite.
How many grams of protein do you recommend eating for yourself every day? Or have you found a number?
Yeah, so the number that seems to be pretty consistent across like Dr. Gabriella Lyons, who is an MD, but way more in the anti-aging, and she's very much on women and protein. So it's take your ideal body weight of, if I weighed 200 pounds, but I want to be 135 pounds, it's that 135 pounds is how many grams of protein I need to get daily. So it's the ideal body weight equals your grams of protein per day.
Wow.
It's a lot. And there's, again, if you eat meat, it's easier to do it. But even eggs, hard to do. Hard to get that
you
with
have
eggs.
To pop, I don't know, 6 of them at a time sometimes.
So that's where I've learned that you do, and again, it's not my favorite, but I've done it, where you do 2 whole eggs and then egg whites, because the egg whites will bump up the protein without quite so much volume, but you're still getting the whole eggs, which we know are important. Yep. So that's why I've lived on cottage cheese. My staff makes fun of me. They're like, did you bring the cottage cheese again? I'm like, yes.
I think I need to find a non-dairy cottage cheese.
It doesn't exist.
I mean, that's a very contradiction.
It doesn't exist.
It's a contradiction of each other. Yeah.
There's every other non-dairy out there, but cottage cheese is not it that I've found.
Yeah. I have non-dairy yogurt, the coconut. I can't remember. The brand is
Coco June.
Yes, Coco June.
The challenge with them, because I like Coco June, it's so good. They don't have a lot of protein. They're very low in protein.
Can't you be like all in one?
No, I know, right? I have the same question, Jennifer.
So I bought I forgot the name of the other one. I ordered it and I ate it. But yes, so it's coconut, and again, you're getting that, but you're not getting the other stuff.
Forager has one that is a higher protein non-dairy yogurt. The Forager brand. I believe it's almond milk, so you can't have an almond allergy.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, there's definitely one that's more of a Greek style.
Harvest Harmless, I think, or
Harmless Harvest,
That's the brand that
I was talking about. A coconut brand, it's so good.
It's got a green label.
Okay.
And then even, so I'll have to check our Forager.
Yeah, and then what you can do with that is, if you like that, you can put a scoop of protein powder into it. Yep. It does make it a little grittier depending on the protein. Mm-hmm. There's a myriad of proteins out there. You have to kind of find what works for you.
Yeah. I either use Flav Cities or Truvani.
I like Truvani as well.
I think it's the Food Babe is the one that created that product.
You got it.
Yeah. So it's a clean product.
Yes.
Sometimes that's all you need. A shaker smoothie. 25 grams of protein. At least I feel good that I get that in one fell swoop.
Yep.
One other thing I wanted to ask you, and then I wanted to start closing up. What are your thoughts on peanuts as being a healthy snack alternative? I've heard so many different things about peanuts and almonds and cashews, even if you're buying them organic. Some people I know are completely sensitive to them. Some people are obviously highly allergic to them. Do you think that peanuts get a bad rap of providing nutritional value?
I don't know that they get a bad rap. I definitely think, so it's like coffee. One of the problems that they just talk about with peanuts, and again, it's how we do things. It's how they get stored. And when they're stored, there's mycotoxins that grow on peanuts. And now I say this as I love peanut butter. I use a defatted peanut protein at times as a protein powder because it's very good protein. And they're technically a legume. They're not a nut. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said some people react to them and some people don't. So when I lived in Colorado, there was a place you could actually buy freshly ground peanuts, like butter, and that, like, I've never seen it here. It's probably too hot here for them, I guess. I don't know. They originally grew them in the South, I guess. So who knows? But the fact that they were local, I've never seen that anywhere else. Wow. I think that it would be ideal in an ideal world.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably pry my peanut butter. I don't eat it every day, so don't get me wrong, but I will never stop eating peanut butter. But I don't feel I react to it. Maybe at some point down the road, if a provider said, can you stop eating it for 90 days or 6 months to see if there was an issue, I would. But I like it. There's we have certain ties to some of those food things.
And I think I have to have chocolate every day.
Yeah.
And so I have not bought peanut butter from Trader Joe's in a long time, but I would love to buy my healthier chocolate chips, put them in there, and that's my
treat.
Reese's Pieces bar,
Yeah. You know what I did when I was losing weight that's so good? It's high calories, but it's so good when you need a treat, is you take a date and you split it open, you take the seed out, and you put a little scoop of peanut butter in there with some little tiny chocolate chips.
Mm-hmm. Really? I love dates.
It's so stinking good. And they're really good frozen. Just obviously don't chip a tooth.
Correct.
Let it sit out a little bit. But they taste like freaking candy.
All right.
And dates have so many minerals in them.
I know. They're so good for you.
Yeah.
I buy them 2 boxes at a time.
Yeah, they're
at Costco.
delicious.
Yeah, sometimes they're the biggest dates you'll ever want to see.
Yes.
Packed in there, and you're like, holy cow.
And they have really good nutrition. Yes, they have high sugar, but they've shown for most people, again, other people might be different. Some people might be different, but for the most part, they don't spike blood glucose, which is shocking with how much sugar they contain.
Yeah.
And again, everybody should test it for themselves, but supposedly for a lot of people, they do not, because they have such good mineral and other nutrition content.
Mm-hmm.
So
takes away
somehow there's something in the body's, nutrition. And our brain likes glucose. It's its favorite food.
Amazing. All right. I want to ask you, do you keep your little nuggets of wisdom or truth or recommended products or what you use, recommended, let's say, products for your spices or anything else? Do you have a list of like top 10, top 20 things stored anywhere in your brain or on the computer? Or
I don't. It's such a good idea, right?
Yeah.
I know. I need to do something like that because I get asked all the time for things, for supplements, for products. Like I send people all the time some sea salt links.
Or like recommended shopping lists. If you're going, here are Andrea's recommendations on your website. It's a good idea. Yeah. So, because I'm sure you get those questions all the time.
I do.
I
get them frequently, not all the time, but frequently. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. And it's always better to get a referral to a good product than trying to figure it out on your own sometimes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you think you're picking the cleanest, best product until you talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, no, that's not so good.
Yeah. I mean, one of my adages is if you buy anything from it, and look, I'm a avid Costco shopper. The dates are one of the things to buy there, but don't buy your supplements at Costco. And I'm not saying that to you. Don't buy supplements at Costco or Walmart or Walgreens. No. And I don't know everything in there, so I'm sure there's one or two that are probably better, but just the fact that they're shipped on trucks and sitting in warehouses, I don't know.
It's just here's all this stuff, go and buy it that we've put out for you you don't really know if they're qualified sources. And you're right. I do believe that there's a majority of society that wants and is interested in finding the better, best, non-junked products to put in their body.
Yeah.
And when they go into a store and they see it in such largeness, they're like, this either doesn't look right or sure, I'll buy from them.
Well, it's convenience, opportunity.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm an impulse buyer at times.
Yeah, I know.
And I try to buy quality snacks at Costco, and it's still challenging.
Yep.
And there's a demand for them. Like you and I would buy quality snacks if it was like better ingredients. And there's times I just look at the list and it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging. So you make the best choices you can with where you're at. Sometimes we choose convenient and not as good a quality because that's where we're at, and don't stress about it because the stress is the worst.
Yeah. And you know what? You're going to wake up the next day and you get to do it all over again.
Exactly. God willing.
That's right. That's right. All right, Andrea, thank you
This
so
was
much.
fun.
Yeah, I
I
liked
had-
it. You are really a wealth of important information, and what you do is amazing, helping your clients be the best they possibly can be, and
Yeah.
helping them get there with honest, open communication about what they're getting and how it will best benefit them.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to go in there. Anybody who is not, I highly recommend you treat yourself and you check out all of the Prime IV locations that we've listed. All the locations will be in the show notes, and you won't regret it. It'll be a fantastic experience, and you'll want to make sure that you're a regular.
Sit in the massage chair.
That's right. I mean, I am telling you, that's the best. It really is. When you get to your feet in that it's like really compressed position, there's nothing better. It's heaven. It's heaven in a chair for an hour, and you go off to La Land. This is it. I thank everybody so much for listening, and I hope that you learned something along the way about nutrition, peptides, IV therapy, health and wellness. Andrea is just a wealth of information, and you've heard her story. She comes by it honestly. And if you want to learn more, again, check out Prime IV. And in the meantime, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day. And don't forget to mind your nest.